I spent the last 14 months tracking every single thing I ate in MacroFactor, logging my weight every day, and I'm gonna tell you if I think it's worth it. Before I even used MacroFactor, I've been using macro tracking apps, MyFitnessPal, even Fitbit tracking for about 10 years now, so I have a lot of opinions on this. So just a quick show of some of what I've been going through here. I have been using it since April 12th, and it's currently June 3rd. So that is just about 14 months. So I think the best way to start breaking down the app is to actually jump into the app itself. So I'm going to overlay a screen share here while I go through some of the app and some of my comments on it. Okay, so here we are in the app. We are on the home dashboard. You can see tabs here, the expenditure tab and the weight trend. So these are my two favorite features of MacroFactor. So if you open up expenditure, right now we're set to 6 months. I'll go just to about 1 month. It shows you the graph of what my actual calories being expended are. And so it gives you a range. So as you can see here over the past month, my expenditure has actually gone up, which makes sense. I have increased my total steps by about 2,000 to 4,000 per day, which shows in the calories here. But if you go to all time, it's really cool. So you can see my expenditure will bounce between as low as 2,900 if I'm very sedentary, up to pushing where it is right now, close to 3,400 if I'm getting in my 10,000 steps and training hard. And so that's really cool. That's the first big benefit that I noticed from MacroFactor. It's just to have this tangible thing here. I used to track on different apps, and what I would notice is I would say, my expenditure is probably 3,000 based on the formula they gave me, and I would calculate my diet from there, and I would just manually adjust. If I wasn't gaining or losing weight, I would increase or decrease my calories. This just shows you straight up where your metabolism is based on your current expenditures, which is the coolest part of it. Now, another sweet trend here is the weight trend. So this isn't actually your specific scale weight. This is some kind of formula for the average weight of where they think your true weight is. Because we all know you'll have major fluctuations on your daily weight. So if we just go back to the 1 month diet here, so you can see I have been dieting since about April 25th, 2023. So on the 1 month tab, my trend weight is the solid line. My actual scale weight is that line below it that's waving a lot, which just shows like the big increases and decreases. And I think this is really helpful, especially for people who are just getting into the gym or dieting. So many people have recommended it to weigh in every single day, and that's their biggest fear. Whereas this, at least it shows you where your trend weight is. If you have a day where you're 4 pounds heavier than you were last day, it'll say, hey, your trend weight is probably up 0.1 pounds. It's okay, stay the course. So those are my two favorite things there. As well, it just has a really good food log. So I'll go back into yesterday. It was a refeed day, that's why my calories were so high. But it just has a good breakdown. So even when you jump into select multiple foods, so I had for breakfast, these are the 3 foods I had for breakfast. It was my protein, my milk, and my vector. You can view that as a meal and see exactly what the breakdown of proteins, fats, and carbs, fiber, everything was. Super cool. There's a lot of macro tracking apps. The biggest thing with this app is the expenditure calculator and the nutrition coach. So if you do go into MacroFactor and you want to add a new goal, you go over into the strategy and just hit a new goal, and you can set whatever you want in here. So for example, let's say I want to lose, and I want to get down to, we'll just say what my contest prep, my contest stage weight is going to be, 183 pounds. So let's see how long it thinks I would take to get there. And then they give you a bit of a range for how fast you should be losing. I like to aim for about 0.7% body weight per week. Boom. And then it'll tell me here, estimated daily calories should be about 2,600. And my ETA, estimated time of arrival to that weight, is October 19th, 2023. And once you go to update the program, it'll give you a couple options here for coached, collaborative, or manual. And this is just going to be for your macro allocations. So I would recommend, honestly, on MacroFactor, just do coached, that's what you're paying for. And you just hit design program, and you can just select a preferred distribution of, standard carbs and fats. If you have a specific diet, like your keto, or you eat low carb for an autoimmune disorder or something, just hit that there and it'll do it for you. And then the standard for what this does is it will just prevent the app from setting you calories below bad and low areas. So I'll just do standard floor so it won't set it below 1600. And then for nutrition and activity, just let it know what training you're gonna do. So I do lifting and cardio. Here, they do let you basically have refeed days. So if you shift calories to increase targets on specific days, it just lets you have higher calories on one day, but drops all the other calories down. And then it lets you select here what refeed day you want. So you could have 2, and it wouldn't be as high of a refeed, or you could have 1, and it would be a real refeed. And then the last option, they have a lot of modifiers in here, is just for how high you want your protein. So I go high on protein, and it'll just create a custom diet plan, custom macros that are going to get you where you need to go. So it's pretty great. And then this will, every week, once you start loading your weights in, it's going to adjust. So if your expenditure goes up and you're losing weight too fast, it's going to increase your calories. If you're logging and your weight's not going down, it's going to decrease your calories. So, and what they do say when you start up is the worst thing you can do is to partially track a day. Because if you only log your breakfast in there and then nothing else for the day, it will think that's all you ate that day. Whereas they have in their formula, if you just don't log for a day, it kind of puts an estimated amount in there or something. And now let's get into some of my favorite things compared to other macro tracking apps. So MyFitnessPal, for example. Since I've had MacroFactor for 14 months, they've had about 3 or 4 major substantive overhauls and new features. They're just constantly adding to the system, which I think is awesome. It's not like you get a static thing. They're constantly improving it, which I think is a massive bonus and why I'm leaning towards just sticking with this program. My biggest takeaway from using MacroFactor is that it just does what it says it does. In my opinion, the tracking portion of MacroFactor is it's really good, it's streamlined, but it's not the reason why you should go for it. If you're okay with setting all of your calories, doing your metabolism yourself, and just knowing what you need to eat, then I think you should just go with whatever tracking app you like the most and that you're both most comfortable with. But if you're having trouble losing weight, gaining weight, maintaining weight, then the nutrition coach portion of MacroFactor is the biggest